As of me recording this, Cyberpunk Edgerunners came out like 4 days ago. Coincidentally, I have also found the exact amount of time needed for me to become absolutely obsessed with something. I'm talking Discord profile, changed, soundtrack, in my playlist, my opera background, changed all of it. Alright, I've been fiending on the stuff more than a Dream fan on a hard drive full of Dream's childhood pictures. That's real, by the way. Anyway, it's me, and I watched Edgerunners recently, and if you couldn't tell, I liked it. So to cut to the chase, this video is going to be like all my others. I'm going to give my take on Edgerunner's story, what I personally thought its core message was, and also why it's pretty damn great. Because I don't think I can stop thinking about this show unless I have an outlet to talk about it, and that's what this whole channel is. Also, I probably put a spoiler warning at the very beginning, but I mean it this time. Go watch the show, cause it's all in all like 10 episodes. You could finish it in a night if you felt so inclined. I also am not going to do the whole hand-holding story recap thing I usually do. I'll mention moments and events obviously, but I'm not going to go through the entire narrative like I usually do, cause the show just came out. So this video probably won't make a lot of sense if you haven't watched Edgerunners. I mean, feel free to stick around and absorb the bits and pieces, because trust me, I've been there, but I do implore you to go watch it before watching this video. All good and warned? Great. I didn't go into Edgerunners with much. I never played the original game, nor was I really big on the RPG, or even the genre as a whole, but from the trailer I figured that it'd be good, and boy did that not even scratch the surface. The animation was off the charts. I think that's a given, but what impressed me the most was how well all of it was written. Maybe it's just me, but a lot of the time in these science fiction, far future, dystopian settings, I find it difficult to relate to characters because their lives and how they act are often intrinsically tied to the world around them, which I'm not really able to connect with since, you know, I live in the Earth world, which... oh. That's not the point. Thing is, I can't really relate to wanting to put metal implants in my body or whatever. That looks like the worst, so I thought I wouldn't really like the chrome junkie characters that make up most of the cast. But turns out, I was wrong. Not the putting metal in your body part, honestly this show makes it look way worse than I imagined, but in the sense that they use characters, more specifically David's, affinity for cyber implants to tell a far more relatable story. One about being gifted. That's the title of... Anyway, if you've watched the show already, you might be aware of what I'm talking about. Several times throughout the series, we see David get referred to as special for his high cybernetic tolerance. He uses the Sendevistan 10 times in a day, when usually someone of his build is expected to die after only 3. It's a huge extreme, something you would only expect out of a fated main character. And David delivers on that. He basically MVPs his first real mission and goes from broke dropout to bona fide edgerunner in basically no time at all. David thinks that he was destined to be an edgerunner, and to be fair, he's kind of right. His body is basically built to take in cybernetic implants, but the problem arises when it begins to get to his head. He no longer sees himself as special, he believes himself to be different or unique.
Feels right. Like it's always been a part of me.
And nowhere is that more exemplified than after Maine dies. After Maine's death, David basically becomes the new Maine. He helms the remaining group of Edgerunners and even takes on his and several other cybernetic implants.
Because of Maine and my mom, both had plans for me, left me things to do. Stuff I ain't done yet.
But why? Why would he do that when he isn't really built for it yet, physically and mentally? Because he thinks he's the only one that can, and the people around him continue to cheer on his actions, saying he could make something even bigger than Maine ever could. All this pressure eventually causes him to ignore his clear symptoms of cyberpsychosis, either because he thinks he's better than it, or because he refuses to admit that he's human, just like Maine was. Either way, I think we all know where that landed him. At the end of the day, it was David's own hubris that led to his death at the end of the series. Obviously, I'm not going to try to villainize him. In fact, he's probably one of the nicest people shown off in the entire show, but he succumbed to a feeling that all of us as people experience in life, though in a much more extreme sense. The want and need to make something. It's established pretty early on that David was never really in it for the money. He was in it for the experience. He wanted to become an edgerunner. After he stopped having to worry about things like rent, he realized he wanted to be something in the world, and with his Sandevistan and, you know, living in a world like Cyberpunk, it's really the biggest thing one can do. And he became so obsessed with that dream that he stopped really caring about himself. What he feels shouldn't matter because he thinks he's built to be the best cyberpunk the world has ever seen. But as the series makes us remember time and time again,
don't make a name for yourself as a cyberpunk by how you live. Make a name by how you die.
David was never really different or unique. He was just a nobody that had an abnormally good resistance to cybernetic implants, who took his own specialty too far and was destined to the same fate as everyone else who tries it as a cyberpunk in this world. Lucy represents the life that David could have lived if he considered himself. Her dream wasn't really about the moon, at least after David came into the picture. She only ever wanted David to live, something he could never do because he was so blinded by other people's dreams. She even says so to him, but yet again he can't accept it.
But you never had to save me. All I ever wanted was for you to live.
And at the very end, avert your eyes if this scene still twists your heart like a wet towel, by the way, we see Lucy's dreams technically fulfilled as she is on the moon using the money given to her by David, but she knows that he should have been up there with her. She's not happy because this should have been their life together. But it never could be, because David was more focused on becoming an Edgerunner than living his own life. It's a message I think many of us can probably identify with, especially if you're within that younger generation like me, where people are becoming more and more obsessed with making it big and, well, making a name for themselves, because that's what they think will make them happy. But it isn't. Whether you're lucky enough to become someone who can say they've made it, it's not going to make you happy and it's not going to be your life. Happiness isn't what you become in life, it's what you make of it. The people who love you, the friends who care for you, and the fun you have together, that is life. People who believe or get told that they are special often feel the need to use their talent to its fullest potential, but fulfillment for the sake of fulfillment doesn't get you or those you care for anywhere. Because what matters most is not reaching the life you're meant to have, but living the life that you're given. Hey, what's up? Conclusion me here. You're here, so consider liking and also subscribing, maybe. That would be pretty awesome, I think. In the couple of days that Edgerunners has been out, it has quickly skyrocketed to be like one of my favorite shows ever. I probably just have like a soft spot for heart-wrenching stuff that makes you sad like a week after you watch it, but this did that perfectly, so it's like a 9 out of 10 in my book. Also, this was my personal take. Maybe you see the show completely different and you think my opinion is dog water. That's totally chill. Death of the author and all that fun stuff. I just constantly feel the need to share my own opinion. Clearly, I'm new to this whole YouTube thing. My content might change in the future, but hey, if you feel that you like what you saw, perhaps stick around and see where it goes. But anyway, I've talked like more than enough, so bye.